back for another casual conversation with the classic. And today with me, I got none other. Wow, it's been a while since I've done this clearly. Kid Chocolate, professional wrestler, doing the thing out in Canada here. And of course, if you guys remember him from the TWC Show, episode 3, and we've done multiple other things together. It's not even Bret Hart, it's not himself, Bret Hart. You watch Wrestling from the Shadows, you might remember that little kid. Look at him now.
With the flag, with the pants falling down.
Yeah,
that's a kid. I appreciate you guys. Taking the time out today. I know it's your dad's birthday, but we've been trying to do this for a little bit now, and now we're finally going to do it. What's going on, man? How's life going for you? How's quarantine going?
Oh man, for me, it's just
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. That's all it's been. 2K, Call of Duty, whatever we can get our hands on, pretty much, bro.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Keep busy, man.
Pretty much, brother.
So how was it not being able to wrestle? Like, how much were you wrestling before quarantine, and how much you wrestling now?
Oh, like I was supposed to have like a pretty busy schedule. Like I even seen you in February in
Vancouver. Like Vancouver.
Yeah. So I had like a schedule where I did like SmackDown Vancouver. Actually, no, I did like a couple of shows in Calgary, Edmonton, and stuff like that. And then I flew to Vancouver, did that SmackDown there, and then went to NXT in Portland, did extra there, and then did Raw in Everett, and then actually flew back home and I think wrestled in Calgary one more time, and then went to Winnipeg to do another what's it called extra gig, which I had like a tryout match on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of those. But yeah, what's it called? It went well and whatnot. But then also like that following week, I was gonna fly down to South Africa.
Yeah.
And was gonna wrestle for this promotion down there called Slam Force Africa, which, by the way, JTG and Shadow were supposed to be on it with me as well.
Oh, no way. That would have been dope.
Yeah, bad timing. The world just collapsed, right?
So let's talk about you. When did you start wrestling? When did you realize that you wanted to become a professional wrestler? And are you from Canada, or where are you from?
I'm from
this is a serious, this is a pretty fucking heavy story, man. Mo's got quite the backstory.
Man, I'm originally
into it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm originally from Kenya. Like a refugee camp in Kenya called Kakuma Refugee Camp. Like, I was born and raised there. I was up there until I was like about like 11 before I came up here. But yeah, I was up there with me and my mom. Just me and my mom grinding, trying to get to Canada somehow. And my mom unfortunately spent like 13 years down there. It was brutal for her. It was a brutal camp, to be honest. But we made it. We survived. We got here and like. We came to Kitchener, Ontario, and I started getting into like wrestling by like seeing kids in my school wearing like DX shirts, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was confused as to why these kids were wearing DX shirts every fucking day. What's going on? But I was like, and then I got into it where like I got home and I started watching wrestling. Funny enough, first time I watched it, DX were on it. So I'm like, it all makes sense, right? It all makes sense. I was watching it, and it just got like so addicting where like, and unfortunately I couldn't watch it live. Like I couldn't watch Monday Night Raw. Like every night, I was going to bed early, so I would watch the replay the next morning, right? So before I go to school, I watched the replay of everything, and I thought, man, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like right away, one of my favorite guys was Randy Orton. Right away, that's the man. I mean, this dude.
So what year was this around? Was this like later? I'm guessing like 05, 06, I guess, when DX came back, or
8ish.
08ish, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like I got into it then, and like just so happened to be like Randy was.
Red hot.
Right, yeah.
Randy was the man in 08, 09, the age of Orton.
He was going into his prime, bro. He had feud coming up with the McMahons and stuff where he was just kicking everybody in the head. Evolution was 05 and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is after. This is skinhead Randy Orton.
I saw being a fan for a long time, and I remember when they were doing the Evolution stuff. Like my sister Beans was watching on TV, and I was pretty hot at the business at the time. Like, we didn't do it because of all the pop stuff. And I remember watching the Evolution stuff, and I just got right back into it with Flair and everything. I was like, it was a pretty sick angle. Like,
no doubt,
easy time to get back into it.
Man, definitely. That definitely put Randy in a big spot.
So you started watching, you're a big Randy Orton fan. Like, what made you take that leap of faith to be like, maybe I want to try this, or how do I try this?
So before this, I was like a big soccer guy. Like I played soccer, like I watched soccer, so that was my thing. Like being from Africa, that's the only thing you know.
Yeah.
So I came to Canada thinking I'm a big soccer star. I'm good at things. These kids get
nobody plays up.
I'm like, face and like I'm running, these kids can barely catch me. So I'm like, that was the thing. But then once I started watching wrestling, it was like no brainer, bro. I started watching it religiously, like every day. And then it got to a point where like just like every other kid, I started pulling the mattress to the living room and like, DDTing my mom, like my sister, my brother, bro. Nobody's safe. Like,
yeah.
So and then like it just so happened to be like all the kids at school were into it, just like me. And like we started wrestling. One of my friends, his name's Jace, and we started wrestling in his basement. Like he had all the mattresses. He had like the interest set up. So we had like our promotion. We would wrestle every day. And then it literally got to a point where I was like, I want to become a wrestler. Around like 14ish, I'm like, yeah, that's it for me, man.
So let me ask you a question, because this always pops in my head. Because I, growing up, did the same thing. We had the trampolines, the kids in the cul-de-sac, we'd get together, we'd have matches and stuff. We're like putting backyard matches with each other and all this stuff, pulling out the mattresses, all that stuff. Isn't that so? Like, when did you find out like the truth about wrestling and how it's like scripted? Like, when did that happen for you,
bro? Do you remember? On YouTube they used to have this like, I forgot what it was called, but it used to be this like bunch of like episodes of like it was like, I don't know, like exposing wrestling or something.
yeah, I don't remember, but yeah,
the tricks and everything, like all this stuff, and it was like the story background, everything. And I remember me and my friend Jace were like, bro, we figured it out. We know everything. It's easy. Yeah, dude. We learned how to do like a headlock and like the international whatever.
Yeah.
Like every day we go to school and like do the same moves. We learned that like guys talk to each other. So we're like every day at school we're like talking. We thought we were the coolest kids ever.
I was about to say those bastards, but if anything, they helped you guys get better at your craft. Look at that.
Definitely kind of gave us like a different look at it.
Because my question I was going to ask you from that is because I always found it so funny because as kids, we play wrestle, obviously, right? And you're basically like, without knowing the truth about wrestling, I'd be like to my buddy, like, now you're going to come back at me. Like, we're like calling the match as we're playing wrestling. Before I even knew how wrestling worked, I'm like, that's so crazy. Because then when you grow up and you hear like, oh, they call the match in the ring. And then like, I'm like, oh. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm a wrestler. I'm like, but we've been doing that. I've been booking matches since I was a kid. I'm like,
technology's always been there.
Yeah, I'm like, I've been booking matches. That's good. Like, because we'd have other kids watching. Be like, okay, now you're gonna get out of the submission hold. I'm gonna let you go. Like, we were talking to each other like under breath. I'm like, yo, we've been doing wrestling forever. Like, this is crazy.
We're veterans of the game.
It's funny how like when you watch enough as a kid too, that like how easy it comes to you. It can come to you pretty naturally. Like when you watch enough, like you can kind of.
I agree with that. I agree.
You get the premise of it,
like, especially
100%
for and stuff like that. Especially if you did it like if you're one of those kids that actually played and tried all that stuff.
Yeah.
When you finally like go train and stuff, you kind of understand. Like obviously you're learning how to do it safely, but everything. Like when I was training, I had an understanding of everything. Like I knew like the back
just
bump,
the execution. You gotta get down.
Lance had to teach me how to like, you don't break your neck, kid. Like
so you already answered my next question. I was gonna say, where'd you go to train? And you brought up Lance's name. So you went to Lance Storm School.
Yeah, man. That was
how did you figure out to go there? Like how did you do your research and like that's a school I want to go to?
Man, funny. I think like right about like grade 11ish, I started looking into it. I'm like next year I'm out of high school. Like this is my goal. I don't even want to go to like university or college. I'm gonna just try to pursue this, right? So like I like searched like wrestling schools or whatever, and it so happens to be that like Lance was in what's it called, Calgary, right?
Yeah.
And funny enough, like I hadn't, because like I said, I was start watching wrestling like the later bit. So Lance wasn't wrestling when I was watching.
Yeah, so you didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I know who he was. So like I'm like Lance Storm, and it says like WWE, and I remember going to the website and he had like what's it called, like endorsements from like Steve Austin, like Jim.
Yeah.
This guy's the real deal. So like I started like Googling him and like YouTubing him and watching his stuff, and I'm like, oh okay. So like as soon as I left high school, I like emailed him. I'm like, hey dude, I'm this age, like, do you think I can come visit and check out the school? He's like, I live 10 minutes away. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, come by. And I went and I checked it out, and I was like, mesmerized, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that facility.
Yeah. His ring was like an actual WWE ring and stuff, and I'm like, whoa. Like, and he was serious business. I'm like, what's the man?
I remember, it's unfortunate because he doesn't have a school right now, right?
Yeah, he's done now. I remember Lance is a pretty solid dude, like especially when it comes to like training. Like he used to, what's that guy's name? I want to say,
because I was gonna say, is that where you guys met? Because I know you and your brother.
No,
we met like
long time ago.
We met, I don't know, at a bar or something.
Bar.
Yeah, bar. But I know like Lance, like I used to have trained one-on-one with Lance and an Australian guy. And he was like, I would work full time and then go to Lance's after he ran the camp, and he would keep an extra guy there, and I would work with just Lance and this other guy, and like it was honestly like maybe a couple times a week, and it was like, you know, that's Lance going out of his way big time to like try to help me get trained up. And so when he runs the school, man, he runs it pretty serious.
Yeah,
and like, I know he had like guys from like all over the world come here, and like
Australia being his like biggest market probably.
Did he do that old school? Like, did he try to test you guys at all?
Say that again.
Did you do any of that old school, like trying to test you guys to kind of, you know, trim their fat type of situation? Because there's a lot of people that come to wrestling school. Not everybody hangs, right? So like,
to him, it was almost like he almost told you like he didn't believe in like how people did stuff like that. Where it was like, I want to see you, like I'll break you until, you know what I'm saying? Until he wasn't one of those. He was like, listen,
that's
man.
good.
Yeah,
get like, the fundamentals, like almost like Hito and Sakurada kind of training. Like get the bumps down. You're gonna come in here and take 50 bumps in a row, and then you're gonna get up and, you know, take another 25, like a different bump.
Crazy. Yeah. No, he's
a great teacher.
Sure. He's pretty much, I'll teach you from zero to like, you know, all the way to what you need to know to have a match. And he's like, if you don't catch on, that's on you, right? Yeah. You pay me to teach you, I'll teach you. And
I like to. He would never like try to teach you something he didn't know. I remember asking him like, can you like teach me how to throw punches like my dad threw punches? And he's like, that's something you got to learn from your dad. He's like, I get punches, and like I even remember like front turnbuckle. I was like, can you take a front turnbuckle? And he's like, once again, this is like you're gonna have to hit up your dad for that one. Like I don't know how to do that one as good, but
that's funny too. I actually, funny enough, I asked him about that because I was like a big like Bret Hart fan in terms of like the front turnbuckles. And I asked him, he told me that wasn't his thing. And I remember like telling Bret about this. I'm like, hey man, I try to like it. Bret was like, yeah, I agree. I agree. He's like, no one should really teach you that doesn't know what it is. I was like, pretty good, man. But yeah, Lance was pretty much straight up.
No, that's sweet. I really wish the school was still open, because I think, you know, a lot of people that listen to these podcasts or these shows watch them are always, you know, they're either interested in breaking into the business or they want to know how to, or like the good schools and stuff. So that's why I like having these conversations. On that point though, was there anything that was a major struggle for you when you actually started wrestling? Was there something to you like you probably got better at it now, you learned from it, but at first you're like, oh, this was harder than I thought? Like
official wrestling or while training?
Well, while training or official wrestling, either one. What's the biggest struggle you've dealt with?
I found like training, like I caught on pretty easy. Like I think I remember the one thing that like I like made a point, because one thing for me is, man, like whenever I decide to like do something, I don't like half-ass it. I'm like, I'm gonna try to be at least decent. If I'm not the best, I'm at least gonna be decent. I'm gonna be better than somebody. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be better than somebody in that building. I don't care who it is. Like I remember like. Funny enough, a few friends, like I have a buddy of mine who, funny enough, I don't know if you know a kid named Tony Cage. He like Gershinder Singh. Like
I know him.
Yeah. So he's the one who's a good friend of mine. He went to Lance's before, I think 2 years before or something.
Yeah.
Like he was telling me like what Lance expects, right? So I already had like a cheat code. Right. And he's like, you got to be the guy. You got to be there early. You know, you got to beat him to it and stuff like that. So I'll go so early, wait outside. And he's kind of like made an impression where like I would beat him to it every day. And he'd be sitting outside the door and be like, oh, okay. And then would go in and he'll chat about the business or what Raw was doing or what SmackDown was doing. And like, he'll talk, but he got up he's seen that I wasn't really one of those guys just there to experience. I was like,
you were serious.
Yeah. And like I caught on everything. Like I remember being like, whenever he was showing something, I was the first one in the ring, and like I would try to get as much rep as I could every day. Like each kid would be scared, you know, because Lance is intimidating. I'll tell you, Lance is a very, very intimidating guy when he's training you. If you fuck up, it's kind of like, well, that's on you, man. Like go back to the line. So like I tried my best to get as much rep, and he kind of appreciated it. But like I caught on everything pretty smooth. Like it was like I caught on. And then when I started wrestling, like I don't think anything was hard. Like I remember my first match, like it wasn't nothing like over the top. It was simple. Like and I caught it. Like I had a simple, like most people have like a bad first match and stuff. I thought my match was pretty simple, pretty good. Like it was to the point. And since then I really never had a hard time wrestling. It was
a great time wrestling here. This guy. So Blade, I want to turn this to you for a second, because for those that haven't listened to when you came on the TWC show, and I'm sure we've talked other times. I don't know which ones were on the air or off the air, but for you, like for people that ask, because that's a common question, like, oh, are any of Bret's kids ever going to wrestle? what's your story about training and trying to become a wrestler? Because I know you thought about it. It was something you guys tried.
Yeah, like when I trained with my brother and Lance for a while, and I like at the time when I was training with Lance, like I loved it, man. I was pretty into it. I was going like, you know, like I said, I was working full time and going like I was like working oil and gas too. So I was like going there, covered, like my hands are covered in oil, and fucking Lance is like, you know, got to work with me, and he's probably getting fucking oil all over him and shit. Like I'm just sweating and like. But it was like he really went out of his way for me to keep going. And initially, it was me and my older brother doing it, and then eventually, my older brother, he's whatever, like 5-6 years older than me, and he came to the point where he's like, it's too late for me. He's like, I'm not super into it, and I was at the point where I was like, I'm still in it. Like I still want to do it, and like I was like back watching, you know, every Monday, and like. And then I just got to a point, man, between work, and then I started having some knee problems from just like playing hockey growing up. And once my knee was blown, I got knee surgery, and it just wasn't for me, man. Looking at how beat up my dad is nowadays, it's, you know, I think he burned pretty bright, but it's, you know, you pay the cost in the end for it, like, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a difference when you see the end result. You know, your dad was in it for so long and going so hard for so many years. Now you see some of the physical struggles that he might have, and with, you know, injuries that he had in the past and situations like that, where it's like maybe that opens your eyes a little bit more to be like, I don't know. No, I understand that.
I just like I got into it too late. Like, you know, when I'm like 26, 27 and trying to do it. We had a thing, I think it was like maybe like a year and a half ago. And we had this like a friend of my dad's. He came down here, and my dad was going to show him a few things. So we got his old WWF ring out. Yeah, and we put it in like a CrossFit gym.
So wait, you guys have a ring?
We just have a ring on command. And it's
that's sweet, yeah.
But we ended up going to this like little CrossFit place, and then it's so funny watching my dad. Like we're just there to like bump for my dad and do like little things, so my dad could show this guy like what wrestling's about. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of a complicated story. But then we had like, I remember it was like nip ups, and my dad's like trying to do a nip up, and I'm like, Dad, like you can't do a nip up, man. Like you're fucking concussed head, like not cool to do a nip up. He's like, he starts doing all the nip ups. I remember we did a roll up. Me and my brother trying to do a roll up off the ropes, and my dad watches me and my brother butcher it, and he's like, move over. Does the whole roll up, fucking pulls me up. It was like he's like, you know, just like, been dying to do a roll up for the last like 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like I've been around.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have such a love for it. It's like I respect the business a lot. Like I know what it's about, and I know, you know, what the people in the business sacrifice and stuff. So I'm a pretty big fan of it. It just wasn't for me in the end, but. I love being
that's fair. What are you doing these days where people can find you, or if they want to support the Hart kids? Like what is Blade up there?
I'm doing art. I'm an artist. I'm in university right now for that. And then I actually have like a little mini announcement. Me and my older brother are like opening up a Bret Hart like themed bar here.
That's sweet.
We don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but we're going to have like a ring in there and a bunch of memorabilia. It's actually at a nightclub here in Calgary called Back Alley.
Yeah.
They have like a whole other half to their nightclub that we're going to turn
they're not using
into like the Bret Hart like wrestling bar. And we're going to do matches. I think we're probably looking at the first champion here, I'm pretty sure.
wait, this is going to be like a mini promotion too? We're going to have matches and run a show, and at the bar, and people come at a certain day when the shows, or they can just come there throughout the week and party. Is what's going on?
Nah, it's like, especially when it comes to like Stampede, like we want to put on like big shows, and like we want to like be able to like have like Q&As. Like it's just, wrestling's not predominant enough here anymore, and we want to bring it back to its old glory. Like we really want to make it like super Stampede wrestling team. We want to get like, you know, the older crowd that used to love Stampede so much back into it and stuff. They're here. They're everywhere, man. The indie shows aren't always packed here. There's just not enough of them.
They just need to be encouraged to come up.
And honestly, when you listen to 90% of old school stories, there's wrestling stories generally. When people talk about professional wrestling in Canada, they talk about Calgary. They don't really talk about Toronto and stuff. I know there's a hot wrestling scene there right now. I get that, but people aren't like, oh, Toronto, that's where I was at, or Vancouver. It's like, oh, Calgary. Like that's what people, you know, that's Canada wrestling Calgary. Like,
yeah, everybody came through here. That's like the all time. If you were to go through the all time list of like the all time favorite wrestlers, like a portion of them is from here.
Yeah,
or
a good chunk of everybody at least came
exactly.
Like they did that death tour through Calgary, through the mountains and the cold.
That one has its own stories, but yeah, like you gotta go through good old Stu.
To get stretched a little bit by Stu. He's trying to teach you stuff, but he stretched me till I cried. Weird that story.
You gotta get your blue check from Stu. You gotta get verified by Stu.
It's funny, we gotta get the old box of the old Stampede wrestling checks right over here. My dad's like, there's gonna be like a Gorgeous George signature in there or something like.
That's wild.
I think it's really like. I think Mo's like a really good ambassador for wrestling here. Like, we went to the Black Lives Matter protest, and this guy's getting stopped like every 3 feet. That's like, I have mutual friends that I didn't even know we had in common.
For sure.
And they're like, all posting his wrestling, and I was like, you guys all know Mo, like. So it's championing the industry here, which is sweet, man. Like we need that here for sure.
I have more questions about the bar, but I do want to say like that was such a weird coincidence, and it blows my mind because I know we're in July now, but it still blows my mind that was just February. We were at that SmackDown show in Vancouver, and I'm walking out, and they're like, "Yo, Wrestling Classic," and we bumped into each other, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up? We got to do something together." But the fact that was just February, and we've been on lockdown since basically because I went to California right after that. Like I came to SmackDown. The reason why I didn't come to NXT and Raw and Portland and all this stuff is because we had like a cousin's trip to go to California, and they forced me to book my ticket earlier because like he's like, I'm gonna leave like midway while you're there, and then you're gonna come after. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go to SmackDown and I'll come. So I went to SmackDown and I went to California, and everything was bang, 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 and I came back and the world shut down. And I'm just
big cutoff.
I was like, that's wild. So I'm glad we actually got doing this because we talked about it that day too, and I'm like, we're gonna do something together. Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
Trying to chop it up real fast. I'm like that because I had to drive to like Washington right then and there. Like so, I was running, like trying to chop. I was still wearing like my suit. I
didn't know who he was. I thought he was like security or something.
I was like really trying to take off my suit. I was like, how hot was that fucking SmackDown?
Oh, it was good, man. It's just it's nice to thinking about that just makes me miss live wrestling again. Whether it's independent wrestling, WWE, or any, I just miss going to a live wrestling show, being in the crowd. Like it's feeling.
I really thought it would have been sweet, man. Unfortunately for him, like I know you know Big Raj.
Yeah,
he's another guy that like really pushed me a lot when I was coming up. Unfortunately, it was at the time when he got released.
Yeah,
he was home a lot, and like him and Gamas Jr. as well. Those are the guys that kind of like showed me the right path, to be honest. But like Big Jin is like a good friend of mine.
No, he's the man. He's helped me out a ton too, and I'm not even like a wrestler. He's just given me opportunities to do things that other people wouldn't. You know, like I can count on my hands of people that actually reached out to me.
Raj is pure, man. Raj is one of those pure guys, man, and he's so awesome. I remember like saying in like backstage, and I'm like, oh man, I wish like he was here to wrestle, like in front of all these people, especially in Vancouver where like it's so hot, like for his people and like Canadians to begin with. It's like I was wishing that he got in there.
Yeah, no, if he wasn't injured in that time, I would have loved for him to be on SmackDown. Another thing about the bar, Blade. The other thing about the bar, your dad did release like a craft beer once upon a time, right?
Yeah, that was with. So he's had two. Speak of the guy.
You wanna say hi?
Want to say hello? This is a pretty big endorsement here.
It's a birthday.
Is it? Happy birthday!
It's the birthday. Guy.
How are you? Happy birthday!
I'm good. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Today's celebration. It's the exact middle day of the year, which makes it sort of the perfect day. Not to mention the fact that it's between July 1st, which is Canada Day, and July 4th, which is, USA Day.
Yeah. So, you know what? I had to hesitate to post you yesterday because I'm like, I know I'm gonna make a Bret Hart post tomorrow for his birthday. So
it's like very, very fitting for Mr. Canada
Day. But anyway,
yeah,
we're gonna go pick up some burgers.
Well, you guys enjoy your birthday and enjoy those burgers.
He loves his burgers.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for dropping in here.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
For sure.
Yeah,
we will. We will.
We got our big table hockey tournament tonight.
People. This is a debate I have with a lot of people, because I'm like, table hockey over foosball, 110%, right?
Oh, 100%. You foosball guy?
Oh, just like soccer?
Yeah. Because I'm not gonna lie, Mo's been getting just absolutely pumped and table hockey league. He's a great wrestler, terrible table hockey player.
Bro, first of all, like when I first heard about it, I thought it was football style. I'm like, oh, it shouldn't be that hard. And I come out here, these guys are like hitting it off the wall, and like I'm like, bro, I don't even blink, and there's like 3 goals. I'm like, what's going on?
I've honestly could confidently say that like this group, we could potentially be the best table hockey players in the world now. My dad thinks
why isn't this on YouTube? Like, why isn't this a series?
My dad's been doing those like video podcasts. He's like, I think the guy's gonna maybe come and film a little bit of it tonight, so people get another little glimpse of it. But
sure, man.
Sweet.
Like, wait, the basement. What goes on in that basement is almost like table hockey dungeon.
If I'm learning anything right now, the thing is, what I'm hearing is I need to come to Calgary and hang out for a bit. There seems to be a ton going on there, and I'm not allowed to cross the border the other way. So, I mean, right now because the pandemic I'm not in trouble in any other way. It's just like the border is closed because of the pandemic for people that might be watching this 5 years down the road.
Yeah. No, 2020 pandemic.
No, especially when they got the bar set up and stuff like that. Definitely come down.
You guys let me know, man. I've Blade knows for years I've talked about like I'll eventually come there, but I actually potentially come there now.
Well, maybe we'll get you down for the restaurant opening.
Oh, I'm down. Now back to the beer though. I know he did the craft beer thing. Is there going to be like a special Bret Hart beer at this bar? Has that already been discussed?
We're like in the works. There's that. My dad does a lot of stuff for a brewery here called Village Brewery.
Yeah,
and they did a beer last year from my dad. It's like they have a pretty interesting little branding model where it's like it's supposed to be like a village of people. So they have like on the side of the case of beer, like they have one called Village Blonde, and it's about this like blonde lady from Calgary. And they basically just like have these little like highlights on their beer. Each beer like represents a person. So they made one last year that was Village Hitman.
It goes a case right here.
Oh, there you go. Who popped that in? The beer just shows up.
There's a storage here.
There's a little product placement. Village.
You guys got people there. Handing you guys props and stuff.
Yeah, we got just like Joe Rogan's guy. Right?
You guys got people. What's up? How's it going? Welcome to the TWC Casual Conversations. What's up?
Go Raps.
Yeah, there you go. This is great.
We want to try to get like a different, like a straight up Bret Hart beer in there for sure. Like we've had some weird ones, man. We had somebody send us. It was called Bret the Hot Man Hart.
Yeah,
and it was like a sour IPA. Like the best one I've ever had though is they had what the hell was it called? It was like Flying Elbow, and it had like Macho Man on the front of the bottle, and I had it somewhere in the States, and I was like, damn, this is like a fine.
You guys could get creative with the wrestling bar like that, though. You know what I mean? That's a
good idea. Like crossface chicken wings and like, bro.
Oh my god! And people would want to come there just for that. Like, oh, we're going to Calgary. We need to go to the Bret bar. Like,
especially like when Raw comes to town. Like, we want to try to have the boys come by. After.
Yeah, do the Jimmy Seafood thing. Give everyone merchandise to wear. Bret Hart.
That's actually my guy. Shout out to Jimmy Seafood.
No, they're dope. Shout out to those guys too.
We only give stuff to our own. So like TJ and Natty and them will definitely get hooked up. We'll definitely
slanging workhorse fitness stuff in the corner.
I already got my good portion of them, but we'll definitely take some beer.
No, they're dope. They sent me some of that stuff too, man. Quality stuff. Shout out to Workhorse Fitness.
I remember messaging you about TJ, man. I think one of the kindest, greatest influence on me, bro. One of the stand up, both him and Natty or that whole family as well. One of the best influence that ever happened to me.
What kind of advice has he given you that you could probably share with us?
Oh, bro. Dude, the guy gives me advice on anything life, whether it's wrestling, whether it's like everyday life, whether it's like work. I can message him, I can call him, and it's like one of the great. I personally think he's one up there on one of the greatest human beings out there for sure. Like wrestling advice, like he's helped me.
I've seen him text Mo a few times, right? Where it's like he'll send him a clip of like a really bad spot and be like, "Don't do this."
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have a pretty good laugh.
Yeah, I do remember. He's like, "Hey, you want my advice?" He's like, "Definitely don't do this." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." He's another guy who's like straight up honest, man. Yeah. Like straight pure honest. He sees it, he'll call it how he sees it, bro. It's awesome.
That's good to have though, because you know sometimes if people are just pumping up all the time, you don't know. You need that constructive criticism, you know.
That's people like, especially like in some of the way I am with these guys and like close with all these like Hart family, all these guys. A lot of the guys here will try to like be friends with you and like tell you stuff. Like I can have a doo-doo or a shitty match, and it's like, oh yeah, Mo, it's good, don't worry. And I watch it, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. He could honestly told me like that was, you don't want that, but like a guy like that, where even like Blade or like Dell or like everybody here, it's like they're honest family.
That's the way it should be, 100%.
That's
so. How did you get so connected with the Hart family?
I don't know. I guess I'm just lucky, man.
I think me and Mo met
like 2012,
like a long time ago.
We had a bunch of little.
But we kept having like run-ins, funny run-ins all the time, and then it was like they started to get so frequent.
Yeah,
like
hey,
we should just hang out.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's sweet. Your shirt, man. That vintage sheet. I need that, man. That's a sweet Bret Hart shirt. It's a blue one, very rare. You must have like a ton of the old merchandise though.
So I actually took a huge chunk of all the vintage, because what do they call it? They call it like sit rots or something like. Man, I got this box of shirts. I'm actually I'm going to have to show you.
Here we go. We need some vintage merch on the show.
Oh, this is sad, guys. You're going to be quite sad when you see this.
Sad? I don't want to be sad.
The basement has everything there is ever Bret Hart. Like,
so while we wait for Blade to come back, I'm just going to see the drivers and maybe book a flight here.
This is what happens when you get too much merch in your dad's garage for like 10 years. It's all ruined, dude. Lot rot.
Oh, no.
Dude, I was looking for this Baltimore, like, King of the Ring shirt for so long. Just trash, moldy. All these shirts.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
I've never seen this shirt in the gray before. Toast. Wow. All rotten. I was like, dude. So then my dad's like, we need to get rid of some of these shirts. They're just going rotten. So I hit up the wrestling for sale guy, and I was like, Ted, I got like a huge chunk of shirts. Like, we should make a little deal here. And then, I sent him a bunch of shirts. I think I sent him like 40 shirts or something like that. So it seemed like 2-3 days. He posted on Instagram, and they were gone, dude.
Yeah, gone.
Was that the drop that he dropped that time?
That was all from the personal collection, then.
I know Ted's hookup. There you go. Shout out to wrestling.
We got Bret Hart.
I know he's messaged me a few times. He's like, "Are we gonna do another pile?" I was like, "I don't know, man. It's like all we got left."
Man, I bought a couple of those shirts. I bought the one, so it's so funny because like I had a Bret Hart shirt, one of your dad's shirts from when I was a kid. And obviously it was like it was a youth kid's shirt, right? And I have no idea where it went. I don't know if it got given away to charity or like my mom gave it to some other little kid or something after I grew up. Like it just disappeared. So when Ted dropped that and I saw that specific shirt there, it was like from like 1995, his hands on his shoulders, it says Bret the Hitman Hart, very specific shirt. I'm like, yo, like that's the same shirt I had as a kid and I can't find it. So like I right away hit up Ted. I'm like, yo, dude, I need that shirt in my adult size now because just for this one, obviously I love Bret, like was my childhood hero, but at the same time, like I had that specific shirt, and I just think it'd be so cool to have it again, you know, like. So thank you, Blade, for hooking Ted up with the drop there.
The wrestling world, man. I had to give back something. So
I know that's fair, man. All right, man. No, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I know you guys have things to do. I usually like to ask a couple of questions at the end. One of the things I always like to ask is if there's any advice you could give anyone out there that wants to enter professional wrestling or get involved in professional wrestling. Mo, from your perspective of being someone that's, broken in and trained and now wrestling regularly. And then Blade, from your perspective of just being a part of the wrestling world since you were a kid, being a part of the wrestling family, part of wrestling royalty, basically, here in Canada for sure. What advice would you give people that want to get into professional wrestling?
Before I even answer that, man, this guy, it's funny that you say, like, being in the business. This guy, like, me and him would have, like, funny times where we would be, like, hanging out, and his brain for wrestling is stupid, man. We'll sometimes try to, like, we've had times where we'll try to wrestle around here and stuff like that, and he's, like, so advanced in it. It's, like, it amazes me. You're, like, funny enough, there was nights where he'd be like, if you try this, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I'm like, legit, and he like showed me something. I'm like, what did he? And he's like,
to your point, unfortunately, I haven't hung out with Blade yet, even though he was probably the one that talked to me first. Out of everybody. He was the first one that ever reached out to me. He was like, yo, we love your page, and we got cool and shit. But I've hung out with Dallas a bunch of times, whether he was out here in Vancouver, whether it was New York for WrestleMania weekend, whether it was when your dad came back around here for a Q&A show. And it always blows my mind, even if you and your brother don't become wrestlers, like you guys have so much knowledge and you guys have so much brain for this business. I'm like, I'm so surprised they're not doing something with it, So this bar thing's cool because
I'm still waiting for the score to send me on to be a commentator, so I'm ready to go.
Why aren't one of you guys on Aftermath talking about the shows after the fact?
He knows his stuff, man. And funny enough, Dal might just be good old Stu soon enough.
Junior Stu.
There you go. He's got the passion for it too. But yeah, these guys know what the hell they're talking about. It's funny enough, man. Like all it is wrestling is, man. You just gotta want it, man. Yeah. It's like if you want to be the cool cat that just wants to do it in front of like his mom, his auntie, and his girlfriend and his friends. Sure, there's room for that. You know what I mean? But like if you really want to like do it, it's like it's a whole different mentality. Like you gotta like legit. Like I have too, man. I've had times where I get lost, like 3-4 nights where I don't leave the house, where I'm just legit studying it, like watching matches or just writing down what I thought or what it's like. It's what people go for university and stuff like that. Except you got to do it, like you got to watch it, you got to go train for it. It's like you got to want it, like to a different level, man. Yeah, for sure.
It's not easy, right? Like
it's absolutely not. Absolutely,
you got to really want it because you're gonna deal with a lot of heartbreak things that go your way.
Like the saying goes, if it was easy, everybody could do it. Right?
Yeah,
100%. How about you, Blade? What advice would you give people that you think wanted to enter wrestling or get involved with wrestling?
I'd say something like really similar, man. If you're gonna do pretty much anything in life, be all in, and put the time in, and the fruits of your labor will pay off eventually. It's just you got to be all in when you do stuff.
Absolutely.
No, 100%. When the world opens up again, the pandemic's over, independent wrestling's back at it. It's back on the forefront, doing the thing. Where can people find you, Mo? Where are people going to be able to see you? Where do you wrestle?
Probably, yeah. Blade's already like a master of all this stuff. Yeah. He's already put out.
Is Blade like low-key your manager? Is there going to be a day one day where you're coming out and Blade's just behind you with a mic?
You know what's funny too, man? Like, because I already know how smart this dude is and stuff. Whenever I have like stuff like what promoters or somebody emails me, I'd always send it to him.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
I'm like legit.
Manager. So I'm like, hey, like some dude literally, like I don't know, a couple days ago, some dude like from South Africa hit me up, like who's trying to do like a wrestling trading card, right? Like baseball card and stuff like that. And he sent me this whole big stuff that I didn't know what the hell it was. I'm like, yo, Blade, look at this.
Big agreement.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
over from all there.
It's like, yeah,
seems like a D steal.
Yeah, so I definitely Blade is the guy I send my stuff to if I don't know. So in a way, he's getting paid for it.
There you go.
In friendship.
I'll take it.
That's the best way to make it work, man. Who's gonna have your back as a manager more than your own friend?
Absolutely. That's what the people you want, bro.
Friends, the best of friends are the ones, not the ones that are just there when you get in trouble, the ones that are getting in trouble with you and getting out of it with you. Those are the friends.
We're definitely those guys, definitely. But yeah, definitely you can find me at Kid Chocolate, man, which is down there, and I'm sure you're gonna put it on the ground.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's my number. That's where I'm active the most, right?
Yeah.
And then I use Twitter not too much, but I use it, and it's I think I Kid Chocolate MJ. So
yeah, okay, sweet. Blade
11, right there.
Straight up. All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys doing this. We'll definitely do it again when you guys have more time. Maybe we'll when there's more stuff to talk about. Maybe I'll get you guys on the TWC show where we talk about what happened in the week and we can pick apart Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and all that fun stuff. We'll talk about what's wrong with wrestling today and what's great about it today. But it was a pleasure. I appreciate you guys making some time. Hope you guys enjoy the table hockey tournament and enjoy your dad's birthday. I'm glad your dad got to pop on here. I hope that I can somehow make sure his face wasn't covered by this symbol the entire time. I got to figure that out.
Big appearance.
Yeah, big appearance, man. We got that sweet
appearance.
They usually cost. We got
free, dog.
Hey, man, I thought I'm like family. I thought we've been doing this for a while now. You're going to charge me out of all people?
He's in a great mood. He's in a great mood. Birthday. We caught him in a good time.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was. He's going to get some burgers. He's hyped. He's a happy birthday to me. I don't even know why.
Alberta Wagyu, man.
There you go. Hey, isn't like, well, that's usually the case. Majority of the meat that we see at like the McDonald's and stuff here, it's always like from Alberta, fresh from Alberta. It's all wrong.
We're famous for two things here: Bret Hart and Alberta beef.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Yeah, that's I heard a saying like that not too long ago too.
No, it's probably true, man. And you guys got all the oil and stuff over there. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening
Another thing too is funny that he said that, man. Like until you're maybe close enough to Bret or the family, I don't think people realize how like big he is in Calgary. Like almost, you know what I mean? Like obviously in your head, you're like, oh, he's Bret the Hitman Hart. You know what I'm saying? Like from a different point of view, he's like, oh, he's Bret the Hitman. He's a superstar. He's like, but then when you're like around it, it's like a whole different. It's like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's like a different stardom. Like, bro, it's like I'll come to this house and I'll see anybody from the mayor to Terry to like it's anybody's.
That's wild. Dude, I remember watching when I was younger. There was like the countdown for the top 50 greatest Canadians on CBC.
Yeah, he was like Mr. 35. I that all the time.
And then Bret Hart was on it. I'm like, yo, this guy's the man. Like the only wrestler that was on it was Bret Hart. All these like politicians and celebrities, maybe some singers, Celine Dion and shit. And then I was like, Bret Hart.
Like he was behind somebody pretty serious that like invented like
Sir Johnny McDonald or something, man. He's next to prime ministers on that list, dude. Everybody loves Bret.
I think your boy just got in here.
Who's it?
Your boy Big Dell's in here somewhere.
Oh, he's in the house. Look at that. We're just shooting in the shit. Casual conversation with the classic that I tried wrapping up, and now we're talking about countdown.
Crazy.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Sure. Well, we're steady followers, so we appreciate what you do.
No, I appreciate you guys. The Hart family has supported the Wrestling Classic since 2014, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but they've always been supportive. You guys have always sharing stuff, liking stuff, commenting, just being involved, sending me content I've never seen before and pictures and stuff. And that goes out to like Natty guys and stuff too. Like she's always sending me pictures of her dad that I don't think anyone's ever seen. She's like, you can post this, be like, like everyone's been super cool, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Even doing this, man, like got to keep the ball rolling, so I try to do creative things.
Content, man.
Yeah, man. Got to start creating my own content. They're trying to take me down. Can't be taken down. They're coming after me.
Give this man a job already.
Oh, any one of you companies, man. I can help you. I got a connection to the people.
You're wasting everyone's time.
You got everything. You got the following. You got everything. You just need the job.
I noticed for a long, like they haven't touched you for a long time, which I think is a nice sign. They just need to get you officially signed on.
I don't know. It's just the WWE is hectic because it's a really big company and there's a corporate situation there where I think somewhere along the line somebody's like, "Who the fuck is that?" Where like,
it's like that, but all it takes is someone to vouch for you, bro.
Yeah, I know. Well, hopefully one day. All I've ever wanted to do is get people to watch wrestling and promote it in a positive way. Do you have opinions and stuff? For sure, but like at the end of the day, it's just like I want people to watch it because. I don't know. Like now, I think it's changed a little bit, but that's maybe because I'm way into the bubble than I was before. But there was a point I wasn't that into the bubble, and it was like 2014. I just got back into wrestling really in 2011 with the whole CM Punk stuff, and I'm like, it's so crazy. People could walk around and they could be wearing football jerseys, or soccer jerseys, or basketball jerseys, hockey jerseys. Nobody bats an eye. You can be wearing vintage merch. You can be wearing like an old school Stone Cold shirt, Austin 316 NWO. Nobody cares. But man, if you were walking around in a CM Punk shirt. One, it wasn't cool, and two, you just stood out. And I'm like, that's weird. Like wrestling was cool when I was a kid. Like everybody was on it, and that got lost. I wanted to make wrestling cool again. So I was like, let's get the old fans to see the new stuff. Let's get the new fans to see the old stuff, and let it be cool to be a wrestling fan, man. I remember like all my friends stopped watching, and I was like, let's build a place where wrestling fans come together, and it's just like a good vibe. Not like why I don't like Twitter is you go on Twitter and everyone's just complaining and bitching and I'm not going to watch anymore. Like I can't wait till someone else takes over after Vince. He needs to, like, it's just like, why are you even a fan if you're just going to sit there and shit on it?
Yeah.
Like what does that do for anyone? And it's crazy because those people get really popular then. And I'm like, why are they popular? Because they're shitting on the product? Don't get me wrong. The product is not great all the fucking time. It really isn't. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, it's the best all the time. This is the greatest Raw ever. No, this week's was boring as hell. But when wrestling is good, it's fucking good. So support it, because if it wasn't here, then what are you going to bitch about? Like,
people always like that, man, for everything. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
people love to hate.
Yeah, there's always one guy that either knows way too much or knows everything there is to know about wrestling, and he'll give you his 3 cents about it, and you're like, what the hell do you even know, bro?
Yeah, and it's like and it comes off in like the most markiest, like, oh, this guy really doesn't know. He's confused by that guy on Twitter that thought he knows. Listen, I don't know anything. The most I know about wrestling is I know nothing at all, but I know one thing for sure is I enjoy it. I want other people to enjoy it, and everyone that's out there busting ass trying to be wrestlers or producers or camera guys, they're doing this for entertainment. Listen, I didn't like every X-Men movie, but I'm never going to hate the X-Men. I'm going to be an X-Men fan for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not every episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was funny. There was some crappy ones in that, but I'm always going to love that show. So, like, that's what it is. Yeah, and it's okay to analyze stuff. It's okay to get creative and fantasy book and this and that, but don't sit there and be like, why do you still watch this? Or it's fake, or like, I'm never watching WWE again, or fuck this company, or screw this. Don't do that, man. There's people that are working really hard to put on a show for you.
For sure.
Appreciate it. Because if it
wasn't, they're killing themselves. Like their bodies is and you're gonna tell them like, "Oh, I could have done that better," or "I could have bucked that better," or come on.
I try really hard to never. I try so hard to never talk about the in-ring stuff because I'm like, unless I lace my own boots, why the hell am I talking about what happens in the ring? I'm like, just imagine, okay, as a human being, okay, now I'm like 28 years old, I've gone through life experience and stuff. There's been many times where I went out for a casual drink, ended up getting slaughtered and just drunk, and then the next day feeling it without that being the expectation. I'm like, how many times do we know, like, maybe the wrestlers hungover and they're still putting on a hell of a show? We don't know what these guys are going through. Maybe they have, like, personal problems and family problems. We don't know, but they're still putting on this match. They're kind of in their head a little bit like, nobody's perfect. They're still humans, man.
Travel day, they had to get there. Who knows? Like,
yeah, I've traveled just a little bit and I get annoyed. You know what I mean? Like, imagine traveling all the time. I understand CM Punk's grievances. He probably wanted to get the hell off the road. Like, you know, like,
crazy, man. Those guys.
People never take those things in consideration. Then you have Dave Meltzer, and they're like, "Well, this was only a 2.5-star match. Who gives a crap? What does he know about a 2.5 to a 5-star match? When has he ever been in a match? Don't get me wrong, I like Dave Meltzer. He's a good dude. But what the fuck, man? Like,
it's gonna be one of the better jobs being a critic, man.
Yeah, I could create a 5-star match on WWE 2K, bro, and tell you it was you know that's about the most he's doing.
And what is a 5-star match? It's subjective. Why are you guys taking his word for gospel? Like, once again, I don't hate Dave Meltzer. I appreciate his hustle. I'm glad he achieved the success he's achieved doing what he's done for so long. But people that take his word for gospel is the worst. Like, when someone has to argue with me and they use Dave Meltzer as like, well, he said this, I'm like, so. You know,
crazy, man, crazy. Yeah, man, that's just the world. That's how it goes. Everybody knows something, and they want to tell you about it. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, opinions are just like assholes. As everyone has one.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We should probably end it on that.
We appreciate it. Thanks for having us, man.
No, thank you guys for making time for coming on here and shooting the shit. We'll definitely do something again. I'll let you guys get on to your day. Good luck with the table hockey tournament. I don't know if you guys
I need it more than this guy, but yeah.
Well, good luck. Okay, I'm rooting for you. Okay, MJ. It's all.
Right, we'll let you know the outcome.
Yeah. Send me some clips. I'll put on the story.
I'm in the playoffs. That's all I care about.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. I'll talk to you all next time. Thank you for joining us for another Conversation Classic, and we'll see you all later. Dig it.
It's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.